Hello, hello, everybody. How are we doing? Happy Thursday, September 15th. Can't believe we're halfway through the month already, which is why I'm sitting outside. It's much cooler than it has been, but I just want to take it in while I can. Let's get outdoors as much as we can, right? Is your child the king or queen of distraction when it's time to get down to work? Do they suddenly have to go to the bathroom even though you know they just went? Do they bring a toy to the table and it's a distraction, or they suddenly have to share the most important life story they've ever had and it's drawn out and really long? Anything to avoid the work, right? Our kids are so brilliant. They get it. They know how to avoid work, and they pull the wool over our eyes quite a lot, but I'm onto them. And so I actually have some great techniques, and actually it's something I do with all kids because I think that every kid should know this about themselves. Every person should, to be honest. And so I use some really powerful and cool things to help kids realize their genius and how to use their brains to the optimum to help them to learn. And so I was actually working with a child this week, and his mom overheard me. And the first thing I did was this technique with the child. And she said, "Oh my gosh, that was brilliant." And he behaved so well the entire time we were working together. And it's because I set it up right off the start to help him be successful. So I'll start by just telling a little bit of a story. I was working with a little fellow. Actually, I wasn't a child that I worked with, but I was in his classroom, and this child, just a great little guy, super brilliant, but really rambunctious, lots of energy, struggled to sit in his seat, and he was really, really struggling with skip counting, and he just couldn't get it. And finally, the classroom teacher said, "NJ, would you go and spend some time with him, see if you can help him out?" So I took him out into the hallway, and we started doing this activity for skip counting. And it wasn't long before the teacher came out, because all she could hear from within the classroom was him going, "This is so fun." And by using my methodology and my technique, he picked up skip counting like that. And was he ever proud of himself? As you can imagine, right? Something that he thought that was beyond him and he wasn't going to be able to do, he learned really quickly using this technique. So afterwards, because I knew that this child had already made a decision about his learning capabilities, and they weren't good, right? He didn't believe he could. And our thoughts make up our reality, to be honest. So we need to change I needed to change his thoughts, and to do that I had to teach him about just how powerful his brain is. And there are 4 parts of our brain. Well, there's many parts of our brains, but there's 4 modalities that we learn from: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile. So using our eyes, our ears, our muscle movements, and through touch. And unfortunately, in most classroom settings, it's just visual and auditory. Sit down, watch, and listen, right? And that works beautifully for some kids, but for others, it doesn't work at all. And so when I teach, I always teach using all 4 learning modalities simultaneously. And sometimes that looks a little funny because I'm having kids repeat things, I'm having them drawing attention to my mouth, I'm having them watch, I'm having them jump, I'm having them trace, I'm having them move their muscles. But what that does is it works using whatever their strength is, as well as it strengthens wherever their weaknesses are. So for a kid who doesn't learn that well from just listening or just watching, if I incorporate the muscle movement in there as well, then I'm targeting that's what he's good at, but I'm also strengthening the things that he struggles with. So that's kind of like the first point. The first part is teaching them about the 4 parts of our brain and how they connect to the different parts of our body, right? So our eyes go in here, come back to this part of our brain, ears here, right? Once they understand that, speaking of kids, I've got some kids going by quite loudly here. This is the hazard of working from outside. Anyways, as I was saying, once they understand how their brain works, then we can talk about the next thing, which is roadblocks. Things that get in the way of our learning. And I always start out by asking the kids, do you have any idea what your roadblocks might be? Because I have roadblocks. Everybody does. There's always things that get in the way of our learning. And that is a question that usually stumps kids. So then I'll volunteer mine. Mine, and this is the truth, my roadblock is if I'm trying to listen and learn from somebody and I have background noise, I can't filter it out. So that is a definite roadblock to my learning. And sometimes that's enough to prompt them. They'll go, oh yeah, that bothers me too. Sure, okay, and what else might there be? And here's a picture. So I say, what if you didn't get breakfast this morning and you're really hungry? Do you think that that can get in the way of your learning? Or, you know, you had a fight with your brother over your favorite toy and you're still upset about it. That could get in the way of your learning, right? Or what if you're thinking about recess and that you're going to run to the swings as fast as you can and you hope that your friend gets there too? And could that get in the way? Sure. So there's lots of things that get in the way of a child's learning. But here's the thing. Once kids understand how their brains work and what the benefits are of using all of their body and all of their learning modalities to create those pathways in their brain, plus you put the responsibility back on them by saying, now you know what your roadblocks are. So you have to manage those, right? And if it's noise, what can we do to manage those? But I'm talking more specifically about working one-to-one, but even in a classroom setting. And this little boy that I told the story about, the one out in the hallway learning skip counting, he experienced such success doing it the way that I was teaching him that it completely changed how he thought about himself and his willingness to work. Because up to that point, he was kind of like, what's the point? I work, I still don't get it, I'm not successful, why would I bother? Can't blame him, right? But once he experienced that success of doing it the way I was showing him and understanding why he was doing it the way he was doing it, and understanding that he could be putting roadblocks into his learning, I never had a battle with him again. There was never he never tried again to distract me so that he could avoid the work. He was all in. He was like, Miss Maxwell, I want to work with you. And that's what we want, right? We want kids to take responsibility for their learning, because honestly, the only behaviors in life that we can control are our own. And I tell that to kids too. I can't control how you behave. Only you can. I'm here to help. I can support you, but I can't do it for you. So that's how I get kids to buy in. Now I have an entire lesson that I do to teach that whole modality lesson, like teaching kids explicitly how the brain works and the whole thing. And it's really awesome. It's how I start. Anytime I work with a new child, it's the first thing I do. Before I even do a diagnostic to find out where their strengths and gaps are, I do the modality lesson because it's super fun. And it gives them right off the bat, they understand that I'm here to help, right? And that they have the power, that they have super brains. And it's part of my live workshop, a really important piece of my live workshop. But I'm thinking about turning it into just like a downloadable course as well. So I'd really love your input on that. If you think that it's something that you would use, and I highly recommend you do, but if you think it's something that you would like, hey, yeah, that's a really great way to start my year, or a really great way to start off with the kids, or this would really help them, I'm coming up against it, how can I fix that? Maybe send me a private message, let me know. I'm working, of course, as you know, on my reading, spelling, and printing program. The first set of letters has been released. It's on my website in the courses section. I'll put a link down below. For free, downloadable for free. It comes with a video tutorial that shows you exactly how to teach it. It's scripted, you don't have to think about it. It's really quite awesome. I'm getting nothing but positive feedback. I'm working on the second letter pack that's going to be released into my membership probably next week for the people that sign up to my membership community. And again, I would love feedback on anybody who's downloaded it for free. And I know there's lots of you out there. So please, please message me. Let me know what you think, what you love, where you think I can improve. I'm always looking for that. And so I'll put a few links down below. And if you have any questions about what I was just talking about our super brains and our learning modalities and our roadblocks, send them to me too. I'm always looking for what my next live topic should be, and I gauge it on what people need help with. So, or where I've received comments and stuff. So it was my friend's little guy and how lovely he responded to me this week that prompted this one. So you never know where you get your ideas from, and always I like to get them from my community. So let me know how I can help. Feel free to reach out. TimeToShineTeaching.com is my website. I'm Norma Jean Maxwell, founder of Time to Shine, and I am here to help you. Happy teaching, everyone.